Tribal warfare raged across the frozen plains of Mongolia. Children were murdered in their sleep, villages were burned overnight, and women were taken captive. In this time of fear and uncertainty, a boy named Temujin was born. A boy who would change what it meant to be Mongolian and the image of Mongolians in the pages of history. Genghis Khan was born Temujin in 1162, the son of a minor tribal leader. His early life was marked by hardship and violence. His father was killed when he was 9 years old, and he was forced to flee his home with his mother and siblings. He spent his early years in poverty and obscurity, but gradually gained a following among the nomadic tribes of the steppes. Temujin's father, Yesugei, was a member of the Borjigin clan, one of the most powerful clans among the Mongolian tribes. Yesugei was a skilled warrior and respected leader, and he was able to provide a comfortable life for his family. But when Temujin was 9 years old, Yesugei was poisoned by a rival clan. Temujin's mother, Hoelun, was a strong and determined woman, and she was determined to raise her children on her own. She moved the family to a new location and taught Temujin and his siblings how to survive on the steppes. Temujin learned how to hunt, how to track, and how to fight. He also learned how to lead and how to inspire loyalty in others. As he grew older, Temujin began to form bonds with those who had also suffered the sting of adversity. He forged deep and lasting friendships with individuals like Jamuka, a fellow outcast who would later become his closest ally, and Borte, a young woman who would become the love of his life. The turning point in Temujin's life came when he was just 16 years old. He and his family had sought refuge with a neighboring tribe, the Taichi-Yud, who offered them shelter and protection. Temujin's determination and leadership qualities began to shine as he proved himself in skirmishes and conflicts. His charisma and courage attracted the admiration and respect of those around him. It was during this time that he began to be known as Temujin Khan, an acknowledgement of his burgeoning leadership within the clan. However, his vision extended far beyond his own immediate circumstances. He dreamt of uniting the Mongol tribes under a single banner, of ending the intertribal conflicts that had plagued his people for centuries, and forging a powerful Mongol nation. His alliance with Jamuka, a blood brotherhood sworn under the sacred blue skies of Mongolia, marked a pivotal moment in Temujin's life. They became inseparable friends and allies, committed to a shared dream of unifying the Mongol tribes. Jamuka, a member of the Taichi-Yud tribe, brought valuable alliances and resources to the table, while Temujin, with his indomitable spirit and unyielding determination, would be the driving force behind their shared vision. Together, they embarked on a mission to unite the Mongol tribes and end the endemic tribal conflicts that had plagued their people for generations. They pledged to share the leadership, with Temujin leading during Jamuka's absence and vice versa. Their vision was audacious and inspiring, and it marked the beginning of a transformative period in Mongolian history. The alliance between Temujin and Jamuka would not only have far-reaching consequences for the Mongol tribes, but for the entire known world. It was during this time that Temujin honed his military acumen, learning the art of warfare from the experiences he gained in the various campaigns to unite the tribes. In these early campaigns, Temujin's leadership qualities began to shine. He displayed an uncanny ability to inspire loyalty and camaraderie among his followers, a trait that would serve him well in the years to come. He introduced a code of conduct known as the Yasa, a set of laws and rules that would govern the behavior of his followers. The Yasa emphasized discipline, loyalty, and unity, instilling a sense of purpose and identity in his growing army. As Temujin's influence expanded, he sought to further cement his position by taking a strategic political step. He married Berta, his childhood love, to secure an alliance with the powerful Ungarat tribe. This marriage not only solidified his standing, but also marked the beginning of a love story that would endure the test of time. Berta would become not only his beloved wife, but also a trusted advisor and partner in his conquests. The years passed, and Temujin's vision of a united Mongol nation took shape. He was not content with the mere unification of the tribes. He aspired to create a Mongol empire that would stretch from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. His unwavering determination and unyielding spirit were the driving forces behind this grand ambition. However, the alliance between Temujin and Jamuka began to fray at the seams. Differences in ideology and leadership style led to a rift between the two blood brothers. Jamuka, a traditionalist, was resistant to the changes and reforms that Temujin sought to implement. This ideological divide culminated in a bitter and heartbreaking separation, as they realized that their visions for the Mongol nation were irreconcilable. The split with Jamuka was a painful one for Temujin, and it marked a turning point in his journey. He now stood alone, his vision unwavering, his spirit unbreakable. He would continue to forge ahead, pursuing his dream of a united Mongol nation, even if it meant doing so without his closest friend and ally. The years that followed were marked by relentless conflict and conquest. Temujin's military campaigns were relentless, and he demonstrated an unparalleled ability to adapt to different terrains and tactics. His army was a formidable force, unified by the Yasa Code and inspired by their unwavering leader. Together, they overcame seemingly insurmountable odds, vanquishing rival tribes and enemies. One of Temujin's defining characteristics was his ability to learn from his enemies. He observed the strengths and weaknesses of those he conquered, adapting their tactics and strategies to his own advantage. He recognized the importance of mobility and speed in the vast Mongolian steppes, where the ability to strike swiftly and unexpectedly was a decisive advantage. He reorganized his cavalry, transforming them into a highly mobile and disciplined force. As Temujin grew older, he began to attract a following of young men who were impressed by his skills and charisma. He formed a small army and began raiding the camps of rival clans. He was successful in these raids and was able to increase his wealth and power. As he gained the trust of his followers, he maintained this lifestyle throughout his 20s and 30s. He destroyed the Tartars who had murdered his father, and myth has it that he ordered his army to kill every man over 3 feet tall. He boiled the leaders of enemy tribes alive and built pyramids with their skulls. On the other hand, he forgave the best riders and fighters and made them join his army. At the age of 40, he performed a miracle and united all the Mongol tribes. Either by controlling the enemy or by destroying and killing them, he managed to gather thousands of people to his side. In 1206, Temujin was proclaimed Genghis Khan, or universal ruler, by the Mongol tribes. Thousands of people attended the coronation ceremony. Now the mighty Genghis Khan had an army of at least 100,000 men. These warriors weren't just brigands. They were highly trained fighting machines. Horsemen were fast and furious. They could shoot around them with bows up to 320 meters. Mongolians had to pay the Chinese in order to get involved on the Silk Road trade for years. Given that, Genghis Khan's first conquest was the Xixia Empire, which was located in what is now northwestern China. The Xixia Empire was a powerful and wealthy state, but it was no match for Genghis Khan's armies. Genghis Khan used his tactical brilliance and sent a bunch of men towards the Xia Guardians, where they used his favorite trick, tactical retreat. When this small Mongolian squad started running back, Xia Guardians chased them, running right into the trap of the mighty Khan, who was waiting for them with archers at the ready. The Mongols conquered the Xixia Empire in 1209, and they then turned their attention to the Jin dynasty, which was the ruling dynasty of China. After the Xia dynasty's oath of loyalty to Mongolians, the mighty Khan marched towards the Jin dynasty. Even though the Great Wall wasn't built at that time, Mongolian army did not have the proper equipment to break down the walls of the capital Zhongdu, which today is known as Beijing. But the mighty Khan had a plan. He led his army to sack smaller cities, blocked the roads, hence the delivery of food and water, and forced the city to surrender and slaughtered those who rejected to it. The Jin dynasty was forced to pay tribute to the Mongols, and it eventually collapsed in 1234. After conquering China, Genghis Khan turned his attention to the Khwarezmian Empire, which was located in what is now Iran and Central Asia. The Khwarezmian Empire was a powerful state, but it was also divided by internal conflicts. Although the Mongols chose to be diplomatic, which was rare for them, this diplomacy ended after a caravan of Mongols was slaughtered by the state governor. Khan's response was to start the bloodiest war in history. The Mongol army marched, and the war would cost over 1 million lives in 3 years. They flooded cities to wipe out those who survived, slaughtering citizens without exception. The Khwarezmian Empire collapsed in 1221, and Genghis Khan's armies continued to advance into Central Asia. Genghis Khan's conquests were incredibly successful and had a major impact on the development of Asia. they led to the spread of the Mongol culture and language, and they also helped open up new trade routes between Europe and Asia. Genghis Khan's armies also brought with them new technologies, such as gunpowder, which had a major impact on the development of warfare. Genghis Khan's conquests were not without cost. Millions of people were killed in the Mongol invasions, and many cities were destroyed. Genghis Khan's armies were known for their brutality, often massacring entire populations. The legacy of Genghis Khan is still debated today. Some historians see him as a brutal conqueror who caused immense suffering, while others see him as a brilliant military strategist who united the Mongol tribes and helped spread trade and commerce. Regardless of how he is viewed, Genghis Khan was a major figure in world history, and his impact is still felt today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can find out more in our channel.